But I want to talk about something that we observed on the 3rd of March. 3rd of March is the World Hearing Day. And I just wanted to mention something, how hearing is very important to us. When we're talking about cognitive impairment, we're talking about memories. We always need to give a listening ear to someone. Very often, all that a person requires from you is a listening ear. They want you to listen. They don't want your advice. Very often, we listen because we want to give our advice and tell them what we know, but they don't want your advice. They want you to listen. They want you to listen to understand. And listening by itself is a very big intervention, whether it's a person with depression, whether it's a caregiver of a person with dementia, whether it's a person with dementia themselves. They may forget and repeat things, but they want you to listen. Just by being there and saying, yes, I understand what you're trying to say, that makes a big difference in everyone's life. So try to do that and try to be a good listener, because that's going to make a big difference. But when you want to be a good listener, you need to protect your ears and you need to be careful about that. So try not to put things inside your ears, because very often we put some earbuds sometimes or some bob pins sometimes inside the ears, and we damage the eardrum, and that causes a problem. Especially if you're also having diabetes, if you put something in your ear and you call a small wound, that wound gets infected and the ear gets infected. That causes hearing loss. So be very careful about inserting things. Do not insert things in your ear. If you have a problem, can use ear drops, can soften the wax. Wax is often a problem that accumulates in the ear and causes hearing loss. So you can use Vaxonil drops that will dilute the wax and can take it out, to be a little more careful. Do not listen to loud music. Now, everyone has phones and everyone wants to listen to their own music. You put your earphones. So don't listen to music very loud. Very often, because we are having some amount of hearing loss, we increase the volume, but that worsens the damage. So you have to be very careful. The phone itself will tell you, don't increase the volume, be careful, and it gives you that warning. So be careful about that warning. So try to avoid loud music, because if you hear it for a long period of time, that itself can cause hearing damage. Some medications that we take are also what we call ototoxic. So they can also some of the antibiotics, some of the painkillers, they can also affect your ear and cause hearing loss. Now, why it is important to understand hearing loss when we're talking about cognitive impairment? We have done a study and we had seen literature that says that hearing loss is one of the biggest risk factor to cognitive decline. Hearing loss is one of the biggest risk factor to cognitive decline. You tend to lose memory because you have hearing loss. So hearing loss by itself is not a problem. If you have hearing loss or hearing impairment and you do not correct it, that is where things go wrong. So if you have hearing impairment, get it corrected. Otherwise, that hearing loss, because hearing, our senses are a very important stimulus for our brain. What we see, what we hear, what we feel, what we taste, all these are important stimuli for the brain. The brain starts sparking off and working in different ways when these senses, when these stimuli come in. But if you cannot hear, then the brain is gone to sleep. It cannot listen to things. It's not processing anything, any instructions given to it. So it tends to sleep, the neurons tend to die, and it becomes a very big risk factor to cognitive decline. If you use your hearing aid, it reverses that. Okay, so it's important if you're having hearing loss to use hearing aid, and so that you can reverse this and it does not become an important risk factor. It does not become a risk factor for cognitive decline. You need to also understand something about hidden hearing loss, which sometimes, even if you go and do a hearing test, it may come normal, but still you feel that you cannot hear things. Like you listen to a conversation, you will hear the conversation, but you will not understand what people are saying. It's because there is some pitch or some, at some level, you cannot hear things. For example, you may not be able to hear birds chirping, or you may not be able to hear women speaking because they speak in a high frequency voice. So you need to note these down and speak to your doctor, visit an ENT doctor and get that checked. So that is all I want to tell you today. Take care of your ears and take care of your life and be happy with this.